Welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Ground for the last match of the day. This match is between the MCA women and the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. The Chickadees Loudoun Cubs won the toss and elected to bowl. And at the wicket, scoring heavily at the moment for the last two deliveries, she's delivered two boundaries, is Meha Sivakumar. And the opener at the other end is Chinmahi. The last two deliveries have both gone for four. So with 2 balls left in the first over, the score is 9 without loss. The bowler is Ashwini Shavan. Ashwini Shavan is the captain. And once again, this is Brian Walters joining you from the Moosa Stadium in Pearland, Texas. This is clipped in the air to square leg. They'll jog a single, and that's all. In fact, they're looking for a second. Oh, it has to be said, not very alert in the field. And that unfortunately concedes a couple of runs where there really should have only been one. So once again, we're happy to bring you the National Women's Cricket League Houston Open 2023. Really happy to be sponsored by SMK Global. And the ball is down the leg side and it's going to be wide. SMK Global and iStrive Technologies are our main sponsors. And it is because of them why we're able to bring you this action from the lovely Pearland, Texas. Has to be said, the weather has cleared up tremendously in the last hour and a half or so. This is down the leg side and yet another wide. So 2 consecutive wides here. Aubrey Davis is the umpire operating at the close end, the southern end of the ground. That is the Massey Ranch Road end. And then the umpire standing at the Pearland end is Mani Singh. This is on the target. This is exactly where you want to be. So good ball to end things here for Ashwini Chavan. Already 13 runs conceded in the over, though. So we're, again, truncated matches. Because of the fact that we lost so much time today due to the rain, we have scaled back the first match that you just saw, at least the middle match that you just saw was 8 overs. And now this current match has been reduced to 15 overs. We should be able to get the entire match in. Umpires, of course, will be very vigilant about getting these players moving, but assuming that all of that goes to plan, we should be able to play a 15-over match. Back here at Moosa Stadium, the second over about to be bowled is being bowled by Gayatri Iyer, and happy to be joined here in the commentary area by Disha, and I've already forgotten how to say your last name. Good afternoon, Disha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So the small matter of a last over to be bowled in a very important match, a truncated match where 8 overs you needed to chase, or the other team needed to chase 82 runs. You are given the ball with 15 runs to go. What goes through your mind when your captain gives you that type of assignment?
I mean, of course, I'm very nervous because you're in your
Love
last
your
over.
honesty.
Everyone puts all your hopes on you, and you have to bowl. You have to bring your team home, right?
Okay, so obviously you just said you're nervous. I couldn't tell because it didn't look like it from out here, but I'll take your word for it that you were nervous. But how do you put your nervousness aside and focus on what needs to be done in the game?
Well, honestly, I just like block everything out. I'm just like it's just me and the batsman, and I don't think about anything else. And then just me.
Say more about that. That's strong mental focus. Say more about that.
Well, obviously it's very hard when everyone's like around you yelling because literally the game's in your hands and you basically control it. You know, right? So it's really hard to like put everything aside, but I just block everyone out and do my thing and don't worry about what everyone else thinks or says.
So the first over, the first ball of the over. Matter of fact, this ball is forced through the offside. We'll just have the legs to get there. So the first ball of the over, if I remember correctly, was a full toss that got hit for 4. Am I right?
Yes.
So you're already nervous.
Yeah.
You're telling yourself, you know what? I'm blocking everything out. The ball is in my hands. I can do this. Disha, you got this. And then the very first ball gets blasted over mid wicket for 4. What's your approach then?
Well, of course I'm mad and like everyone's just like screaming at me, like not in a bad way, but like
Right.
like you got this, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But like as you know, you have to like push through it, and I reset my mind and I just focused on the next ball and like took the 4 out of my mind and just tried to bowl wicket to wicket and like dot balls. That's it.
Once again, going from memory, you tossed a couple up, but then the fourth one you pushed through.
Yeah,
more
that was my
quickly.
quicker one. Yeah.
All right.
I've been
Tell me about
practicing
that.
one.
Tell me about that. Talk about that for a
Well,
little bit.
honestly, while I was like mid run up, and I was gonna bowl my slower one, right?
Right.
Like my normal one, right?
Right.
And then like I was like, might I just throw my quicker one? I didn't tell my keeper. We have the signal thing, right?
Okay.
I didn't tell her. I just pushed one through. I didn't realize she would miss it. I just bowled it off stuff, and I was like, oh god, like I'm actually like.
Okay, so by the way, 3 consecutive 4s have been hit in this over. So all of a sudden, Meha is going off. First of all, you've played against Meha before, have you not?
Nope.
You've never played against
I
her.
think we're playing their team tomorrow.
Okay, good. By the way, just backing away from the game that you just played in for a second, how many of these young ladies do you regularly play against? How many of them do you know
Like in this.
in the tournament?
Well, I know most of them. I know like a little bit of like the team in pink, and then I don't think I really know anyone from the team that's batting right now. But I know a lot of people from Houston. I played with a lot of them, and pretty sure like, that's it. And like a lot from our team too.
Okay. And so you say you know a lot of the players from Houston. Where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yes.
And so how often are you able to play against teams from Houston?
Well, like it's normally like during like these months, like maybe like once or twice in like 2 months or something. But I also like a few of the girls from Houston. I play like we have like MLC for like guys, like
Okay.
boys. So
Sure.
I play against them as well.
Okay, fantastic. So that is the last ball of the over, punched down to deep mid wicket for a single. So a relatively expensive over. In fact, I'm going to ask you to play analyst for a while. So taking it away from your game and looking at this game. First over goes for 13. The second over goes for 15. So you've conceded 28 runs in 2 overs. What are you telling your teammates at this stage?
Honestly, like tell them to like maybe switch up the bowling a little, maybe bring like slower pace in, because I don't think they've been doing that.
Okay.
Like, a quicker bit, and like just like reset and just don't worry about it. Take like everything take everything like out of your mind and just worry about what's coming next, and don't worry about the past, because there's so many, as you can see, there's so many more overs to come, and like you can bring back that game just like how we did in the last few overs.
So in the 15 over match, certainly there is less room for error than in a 20 over match, but a little bit more room than your 8 over match that you played in. So how much do you factor in the length of the match when you're looking to sort of craft your strategy?
I feel like it's like a lot, because like you play so much different in like an 8 over match than you will 20 overs. You have so much more time to like settle in, and like you have so much more time to bring the game back. While in 8 overs, if you make one wrong mistake or one wrong over, everything goes wrong, and it's so hard to bring that back.
Very interesting. Tell me about your cricket in Atlanta.
Well, I play for an academy called MLCA, my Major League Cricket Academy, and like we have like a boys team there, so I play on that team with one of my teammates.
You play on the boys team. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop the presses. Everybody everybody, stop what you're doing. The umpires need to come in because I think I just heard something that I'm going to have trouble believing. Did you just tell me that you're 12 years old?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Never in 100 years would I have believed that. You're 12.
Yes.
All along I'm thinking, okay, you're 19, so you're probably 17, 18. You're 12?
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it puts what you've done into better context. Because, okay, so, Ranjit, I'm sorry. We're going to have to call this tournament off because I just found out something that I don't know that I believe. She's 12 years old. That is insane. I never in 100 years would have thought that she was that young. I was thinking 17, 18.
This is why I don't believe in numbers. I told anybody, if coach feels that they're talented, I let them play. I don't go by the numbers.
That
numbers
is
are just numbers.
absolutely insane. Absolutely
There
insane.
are
So,
about 3 under 13s here, and they all have done extremely well.
my
I
God.
can name you right now, but they've all done really well.
Wow.
Lot of
Absolutely stunning. 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 So that puts me in a completely different mindset. That's a good looking shot through extra cover. So my mindset now is what is in the water in Atlanta that produces players like you at your age?
I don't know.
So
I guess just
you
really
you started playing and you say you play with the boys and
Mhm.
it's MLCA, right?
MLCA, yeah.
MLCA. So tell me a little bit about that academy.
Well, it's like there's like a bunch of guys. We play like different tournaments with like Houston and a bunch of other like states, of course. And we have like this like it's me and a bunch of my teammates that are on my team right now. We like have like a girls like group there, which is like formed to like produce like more like women's and girls cricket.
Sure.
Like, expand it more. So like.
Very, very interesting. So the last ball coming up in the third over. Lofted in the air, deep mid wicket. That's well hit. And it might have just gone for 6. No signal by the fielder. Boy, from our vantage point, that looks like it landed just on the rope. Did you get a look at that? What do you think?
Yeah, that was really close.
Boy. Well, no signal from the fielder, so we're going to have to take her word for it. So here we see on the replay. This is a good shot, by the way. Chinmahi on the back foot and lofting it to deep mid wicket. And the camera angle not going in that direction, but from where we are, that looks to have just landed on the rope. But we don't have third umpire or anything like that here, so we're just going to have to take the word of the fielder for it. So that's the end of 3. The score is 40 without loss. So MLCA, what is your association, if any, with Atlanta Fire?
My brother actually played last season for Atlanta Fire.
Who's your brother?
Danush Kaveri Pakam.
I thought that last name sounded familiar. I've seen him play. Very interesting. And so now the fourth over to be bowled by Gayatri Ayer. Is it Ear or Ayer?
Ayer, I'm
Thank you. So I'm jumping into the deep end in terms of pronunciation here. And I handle most of them okay. A couple of them I have trouble with. So you're in the 12th, or you're 12 years old, which means that you're probably in the 3rd grade.
6th grade. You're like way off.
Look, it's been a while since my kids were your age, all right? It's been a while, right? One of my kids is 26 years old. The other is going to be a senior in high school. So it's been a while. So yes, I'm way off. Fine. I'm way off. I accept that. You're in the, did I say 3rd grade? Yeah, that was actually pretty stupid.
Like really
okay. Okay. That was, okay. Let's start over. So, yeah, in terms of schooling, you're in the 6th grade, you think? All right, good. Tell me what you're studying. Tell me what you hope to accomplish academically in your life.
I mean, well, of course, I want to go to college. I want to study something, law, I guess, something with that.
So you said something, and then landed on law.
I don't know. I like that. I like criminal, anything like forensic science or something like that.
That is a pretty big jump to whatever law. You jumped straight. This is absolutely stunning. So you're obviously very intelligent. The fact that you even suggested law tells me how intelligent you are. What kind of grades do you make in school?
A's.
Of course you make A's, because why not? So let me ask you this question. First of all, do you play any other sports apart from cricket?
Yeah,
What else do you
play
play?
tennis.
How does playing tennis enhance your cricket or vice versa?
To be honest, I don't think it really does.
Really?
Cause like tennis is like all of like you have this like set like you can't hit outside of like a court.
Sure,
Cricket's
sure.
like you can.
But
I mean, it kind of does.
do they not all, or do they not both involve hand-eye coordination?
They do. So that's good.
And a backhand in tennis is sort of like a reverse
Sweep.
Two-handed forehand is like a pull over mid-wicket, is it not?
I mean, but who plays a two-handed forehand? You can't.
How old are... Okay, I forget.
you
You just said
what?
you're 12 years old.
You
So you
know.
wouldn't... Have you ever heard the name Jimmy Connors? Oh, my goodness. You know what? You're not going to get any of my references. Trust me. It used to be a thing. Two-handed forehands. Go back, go home and ask your parents. I'll tell you. Chris Everett Lloyd... You don't know Chris Everett Lloyd either. They are masters at two-handed forehands. Did you just say who plays a two-handed...
But like that's weird. Like
It is not weird.
Yeah, it
The
is.
top. Look, it's the top. I almost said scoring shot. It's one of the best shots in tennis. Two-handed forehand right down the line. I played tennis a long time ago, when like I was probably your age. I was playing tennis. But yeah, two-handed forehands are actually very powerful. And as hard as you can hit with one hand, you can hit it harder with two.
That's true.
The logic sort of makes sense, does it not? Okay, so tennis, cricket, what other activities?
I mean, I play a little bit of basketball here and there, but like
Basketball.
a little bit.
Are you a college basketball fan?
Yeah, I've been watching the March Madness.
Who do you want to win the NCAA tournament?
Honestly, at first I was like Duke.
Well, they're done. So
Yeah, so I was like, honestly, I don't know anymore.
all right, I'll give you a team to root for. First of all, you are in Houston right now.
Yeah.
So that's the first step. Secondly, the University of Houston, which is where I went to school, the campus is about 25 miles that way. So if you want a rooting interest, there's your rooting interest
No.
right there. What do you mean no?
No.
Who? Okay, who? If not the University, and the Final Four is going to be here in Houston. So if you're not rooting for Houston, who are you rooting for?
I don't like any other team. It's just Duke, and I'm sad now because Duke. And I was mad about Purdue too, because I was like first round. How? So now I'm just next year.
Next year.
Next year, Duke will get them next year.
Interesting. By the way, as far as this game is concerned, we haven't said anything about this game in a long time. Chinmai 12 from 10. Meha 30 from 14. The score is 47 without loss. Bowler is Mamata Swami. And bearing in mind, we're into the fifth over. This is the fifth over in progress, and we're playing 15. That's going to be a no ball. Did you know that rule about, signal wide by umpire Aubrey Smith? Should have been a no ball because it bounced
Yeah.
twice. And when it bounces twice, did you know that rule before today, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Now, did you know the rule about when the ball lands completely off of the pitch, that it's also no
yeah.
ball? Okay, good.
But where is the pitch? You can't even see it.
You absolutely can see it.
I mean, yeah.
If it lands outside of that line,
What if
look.
it touches the line? And it's like half of it's on it and half of it's off of it. What happens then?
Okay, we don't have the technology to say half of it is on it and half of it is off. But if the keeper is diving over here to collect the ball, it's a pretty clear indication, is it not?
Yeah.
By the way, so umpire Aubrey Davis, I'm sorry. He and I were teammates when I played here.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
So I was an opening bowler. He was a number 4 bat. And obviously we're both much older now, but we enjoyed playing cricket here in the city, and it's a wonderful, fantastic place to play cricket. By the way, 50 is up. And, okay, so in a 15-over match, how much runs are you looking to score? What do you think would be a decent target to set?
Probably like 130, 140.
130, 140. This is whipped away behind square, goes away for 4. 130 would be traveling. That's serious
Cause like
work.
if you look at our first game that we played, we
Mhm.
reached 100 like before like I'm pretty sure before the 10 over mark. So I feel like we could push it. I mean, depends on the team, honestly.
Sure,
but, like,
sure. So this last delivery, full toss, drifting down the leg side, it would have missed a 7th stump. So what do you run over and tell your bowler? How do you try to get them to focus in the right areas with both line and length?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of wind out there, and like if like the ball is turning or if it's swinging, I would obviously like at least tell them to like pitch it outside off stump. Just kind of keep it at that length. Try to like bring it into the batsman.
Okay.
Keep your field right.
Very interesting. Now, do you shift your fielders around, or do you simply just tell the bowler, look, I need you to bowl the ball in the right areas? What's your strategy there?
I mean, I would depends on like where like who the batter is, but I would like shift the field a little bit because like if they're like not bowling consistent line, we need to cover like those areas. So I would obviously shift the field a little bit and like tell them to just keep hitting that like off stump line or like wherever like they're swinging it.
What is a good stock ball for you? In other words, a ball that if you can land it 8 times out of 10, that's the kind of ball you're gonna bowl.
Right, like off like right on off stump, like drive length on off stump.
Okay.
Over
And it's going to be the one that you push through, or the one that you toss up.
toss up.
Okay. Say more about that.
The toss up one or like the quicker one? Which one? The
Toss up.
Well, honestly, I just like try to like make them come on the front foot because obviously, like if you're a spinner, you don't want the batter to come on their back foot. So I try to like pitch it up a little bit and make him like drive in, have my like field like on offside and like.
Who is your coach? Because you're talking like a coach.
I have like a bunch, like
Okay.
a lot. Like Coach Rashid, he coaches this, and then we have Coach Clayton Lambert, and like Guys Academy, and then Coach Sudhir, and also a Guys Academy. So.
Coach Clayton Lambert. Where's Coach Clayton Lambert from?
Pretty sure West Indies.
Well, obviously West
yeah,
Indies.
obviously, but like I don't really know where.
Clayton Lambert is from, if I remember correctly, Guyana, and played for the West Indies.
Yeah.
Clayton Lambert may just be a little older than me, so he would have played in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Test.
Yes. So the end of 5, 57 without loss. Meha 31 from 16 and Chinmahi 20 from 14. Okay, so here's a random question. Is there any interest in your part in the broadcasting world?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it seems kind of fun, but I just don't know how to talk.
Okay, you've been doing a good job faking it for the last half an hour.
I mean, yeah, but like it's just sometimes I just have like a block in my mind. I just don't know what to say.
I repeat, you've been doing a good job faking it for the last half an hour. Do you know that there are grown adults who would never sit in that chair right there?
Yeah.
Several playing in this tournament who would never sit in that chair.
I mean, but honestly, it depends on like what you're talking about. Like obviously, it's cricket. I would love to talk about it. Like I'm very passionate about it, and I can go on and on and on and on about it.
Right.
But like if it comes to like I don't know something random, I probably wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I asked you in the context of you being a cricket
Yeah.
commentator, so I would assume I'm not going to ask you in here to talk about, I don't know, the the latest economic collapse and what were the causes for the failure of the bank in San Francisco. I'm not going to ask you that. This is whipped around the corner. This is going to be 4. This over is now being bowled by Nihali, and she's greeted very rudely. First ball sprayed down the leg side, and it runs away for 4. So into the 60s now are the MCA women. So if we go by your measuring stick, you're at 60 after 5 overs and 1 ball. So you can get easily, I would think, to 160, 150, somewhere in that
Yeah.
range.
Definitely.
So if you are the bowling side, what do you need to do to pull things back? What do you need to do to say, hey, look, this is getting out of control. We need to do something different here.
I would obviously like look at how the batters are playing, and if they're like playing pace really well, I would bring in my because like, this is like definitely not like a fast pitch. This is very like for slow bowlers. So I would bring in my slow bowlers, and I would change up the field to like protect the areas where like the batters are really hitting,
Mhm.
and like tell them to like just bowl like where like bowl that line where like they just keep hitting to the fielders and like not to like not in the gaps and just like
Okay. Now, how much does your strategy change because of the fact that it's a 15 over match versus a 20 over match?
a lot because obviously you have like five less overs
Mhm.
and like that like 5 overs is like a lot, so like if it's like from your batting end you would obviously have to go like more aggressive towards like your 10th over than like you would in a 20 over game, and if you're bowling you would have to like cut it like you would have to like cut like you'd have to like cut your runs, right? Because like you don't have that you don't have time to like bring your game back, and you have to obviously control it from the beginning, and you can't let like one over mess you up, and you have to like keep it together, and it's like one over can like make or break the game.
I think after play it today, I'm going to ask Mr. Ranjit Singh for driver's licenses or forms of ID for all of the players. Because I do not believe for a second that you're 12 years old. I'm sorry, I just don't. So you need to tell that lie to somebody else. So 2 balls remaining here in the 6th. Nihali, in fact, 1 ball remaining, my apologies. Nihali none for 7 from her first over, and that's a good piece of fielding at short mid-wicket. So that's a dot ball to close things out in the 6th. The end of 6, the score is 6-4 without loss. So back to you, Disha. Tell me about the cricket scene in Atlanta. And what I'm looking to find out is there any opportunity to play cricket in the schools? In other words, is there any initiative to teach cricket to kids beyond kids who play in academies?
Well, of course, in middle school, we like my school at least, or like in a few other middle schools, we have like cricket team, like a club.
Mm-hmm.
So like, honest, I can't really join because I'm a 6th grader, but like I don't really know what goes on in there. But
Thought you're a 3rd grader.
I'm a 6th grader.
Joking.
But like we have like this high school league in like
Okay.
in our like county where like all like high schools, they have like people that come. You don't even have to play like be in high school. You can just like come and you just play like it's not like hardball, but it's like a plastic ball. It's kind of like that. So they have that you can like play for like school and stuff.
It's interesting. So this is Mamata. Her first over went for 11 runs. And this one, she starts with a wide down the leg side. So more than anything else, I think you're going to want, if you are the Loudoun Cubs, to pull things back. You're right now conceding 10.6 runs and over. In fact, after that wide to start the over, you're now conceding 10.83 runs and over. And this is lofted in the air. Oh, just one bounce, maybe 1 foot in front of the ropes at deep mid-wicket. But runs are starting to flow in a way that you don't think that the Chickadees would be comfortable with. So tell me about your approach if you are either Chinmahi or Meha. Chinmahi is on 30 from 18. She just hit that 4. Meha 32 from 19. Do you tell yourself, you know what, I'm in, I'm going for my shots? Or do you tell yourself, I want to bat all the way through the innings?
I would say bat all the way through the innings because honestly, if one person collapses, the entire one's gonna collapse. So it's rather like to like get a feel of the ball and not hit every ball and just stay there and like play for your team rather than playing for yourself.
Interesting, and that begs a follow-up question. I was watching a game the other day, and there was a batter, I forget who it was now. It's a limited over match, and he was into the 90s, but let's just say it was a 20 over match. It was into the 90s, and it was like the 18th over, but he just started taking singles, right? And took singles until he got to his 100, but in taking singles, he ate up a lot of balls that usually at that stage of the innings you'd be going for your shots. So how difficult is it to block out any potential landmark that you could make for yourself and do exactly what you just said, which is play for the team.
Because I feel like, honestly, if you come out of the ground and you say you got 100 and you're proud of it, but your team lost, how would you feel? Like, you wouldn't feel good about that. Just like you would be proud that you got 100, but it also be that you let your team down and you were selfish, that because you just thought of yourself and you didn't think of everybody else that is on your team and that wanted to win.
So I certainly agree with that. And I saw some criticism of that player who I'm talking about now, and I really don't remember who it was. But I absolutely think that that's selfish. I think getting caught on the boundary in the 18th over for 95 is better than poking the ball around and taking singles until you get through the 19th into the 20th over with 100 against your name, only having taken singles. So, it's a good stop. Good pickup. Throw to the non-strikers end. Had that been a direct hit, there could have been trouble there. But I think we're on the same page in terms of playing for yourself versus playing for the team. How difficult is it to convince your teammates of that? Because teammates like to see a 50 against their name, or maybe in some cases 100 against their name.
Well, honestly, I feel like you have to like always cheer them on, and like, yes, a 50 or like 100 can be exciting, but you always have to like.
Gone. Lofted straight to the covers. I'll get back to that point in a minute. That was well struck, but it was right to that fielder on the cover, on the 30-yard circle at cover, and it got to her waist height, and she put away a pretty straightforward catch. So the first wicket goes down. That is Meha dismissed at the end of the 7th over for a well-played 32, but she's done with the bat, and that is the end of 7. The score is 70 for 1. No, go back to what you're saying. Okay, I'll ask you a different question. The different question would be, in fact, it looks like they're taking a quick break. In fact, let's take a quick break. So let's have them have their water break, and at the end of the water break, we'll come back and talk some more. Back here at Moosa Stadium, Brian Walters joined in the commentary box by Disha Kaveripakam.
Yeah.
Disha, I nailed that last name that time, didn't I?
I mean, yeah, I guess. So, I'll give you a 9 out of 10. It's better than most people. They can't really like.
Well, it's for me when I'm commentating, it's sort of the bare minimum. You have to say people's names properly. Some of them are very hard.
Yeah.
But even when they're hard, I think people appreciate you trying to pronounce their names properly than just sort of skipping over it. So, you're obviously a cricketing family. Your father is he one of the coaches?
No,
He's
he's
the
dad.
He's the dad,
He's the dad.
which is more important than being the coach. But your brother plays for the Atlanta Fire. This is lofted down the ground to deep mid wicket for a single. Tell me about your brother's cricket, and then tell me whether or not you're going to follow in his footsteps.
I mean, well, ever since we moved here, since I was like 5, I've always like went to like wherever he went. Like I used to come here a lot to watch his games. I actually came here 2 years ago to watch one of his like MLC games here.
Hang on a second. You said here 3 times. You mean here, Houston?
Yes.
So you do live in Houston now?
No, but I come here like a lot. Like it's like not normal. Like I come here a lot. I'm coming here again in April to play like the other like tournament.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, keep going.
But like yeah, I only started cricket because of him. I've always watched him and like him play, and that's like he's like one of the reasons I started playing, and he's like one of like I don't know. I can't speak.
He's your inspiration?
Yes, thank
Ah,
you.
wonderful.
Yeah. And obviously, I do want to follow in his footsteps. I want to like play there, and I want to like play like under 19. Well, he tried out, so like I want to do that as well.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is Nihali bowling her second over, none for 8 from 1.3 so far. Oh, she knocked her over. That is a good delivery. On, middle, and off. And Shrutika playing across the line. Unfortunately for her, she is dismissed. Dismissed without troubling the scorers. So the second wicket goes down. Age-old rule in cricket. 1 brings 2 at the end of the second. In fact, there's 2 balls remaining here in the 8th. But this partnership ends with Shrutika being dismissed. The score is now 7-1 for 2. What did you see there? So we've been reliably informed that this young lady, who has been so comfortable commentating that she appears to be a 30-year veteran behind the mic, actually has her family waiting on her so they can go eat pizza or something. So Indian, there's Indian pizza. So the last question I'll ask you is your team going to win the tournament this weekend?
100%, yes.
Whoa!
No doubt.
I didn't even have the question didn't even come out of my mouth yet. You know what? Your confidence is infectious. You are a wonderful, wonderful cricketer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined here by Disha. Tell me.
Kaveri Pakam.
Kaveri Pakam. I had it right there and then I forgot it. Disha, congratulations.
Thank
and I'll
you
see you
so
tomorrow.
much. Thank you.
So, back to the game that we're watching. That is the end of the 8th over. And the end of 8, the score is 7-3 for 2. $78 for 2, and at the wicket is Chinmahi, 33 from 24. She's joined by her captain, Snigdha Paul. Faced 1 delivery and scored 1 run. Mamata with the ball in hand is about to start her 3rd over. 1 wicket for 17 from her 2 overs so far. And once again, we're playing a 15-over match, so we're more than halfway through the innings. Just past the halfway point, in fact. Another 7 overs, another 42 balls remaining in the innings. tossed up delivery and it's lofted down the ground, catchable. Oh, not able to get to it, but she prevents it from going for a boundary. Running across from long off is that fielder. That appears to be Gayatri Iyer. And comes across and in fact is now being changed, switched from long off and being brought into the circle at mid-on. So Izzy Slade Jones is who has been placed back on the boundary. Next delivery, tossed up again, lofted in the air this time, and it's going to go for 4. No one there in the deep. In fact, when they moved Gayatri from long off, they brought her inside the boundary at mid-on, but that went over her head, and in fact over her head and to the right of her. So running away for 4. So a relatively aggressive start to the over here. First a double and then a 4. Chinmahi moving on to 39 from 26, striking it at the rate of 150. Next delivery. Going in the same direction, stays in the air for a long time, but not going to go for 4. Should get a couple easily here, though. So 3 deliveries, and we're already at 8 runs. And just a second, checking on one of the fielders who appears to have hurt herself. And that gives us some time to be introduced to yet another person who is in the commentary booth. Good afternoon, ma'am. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Brian. I'm Rachna, and I'm Snigdha Paul's mom.
That is interesting. I have several questions.
Oh, really? I hope I answered them properly.
Well, from the perspective of being a sports parent,
Yeah.
first of all, how difficult is it to see your own daughter play?
It's not difficult seeing, but there are other things attached to a sports person. You have to facilitate a lot of things because she is not having time. So you have to see many other things.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely sometimes when she is batting especially, not bowling, I am a little bit nervous.
I will tell you, and Ranjit knows this because my son played on his team in 2015. What?
Oh,
Yes.
I never knew about it.
Yes. And he is now exclusively a soccer player, doesn't play cricket anymore.
Okay.
I find it relatively easy to watch him playing soccer.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to watch him play cricket, particularly if he's batting.
Yeah, because your emotions are attached to it, maybe.
I mean, part of it is that your emotions are attached to it. For me, the other part of it is if you're playing a genuine team sport. What I mean by that is soccer is on every play, there's multiple players involved on your team. So you're passing the ball here or there, or you're crossing it across the middle for your teammate to get a header.
Yeah.
In cricket, it's a series of one-on-one battles.
You are correct.
It's a team game, but the entire game is the batter versus the bowler. And that makes it so much more difficult to watch for me.
I term it as a mixture of team and individual game.
Yes,
because you are playing with the team, but when you are batting, you are alone. You
100%.
You are handling an individual game at that time.
So when my son, I'm not trying to turn this into a conversation about my son, but when he played, he was an all-rounder. So it became
great.
easier to follow him because if he goes out there and gets one ball clean bowled, he has the opportunity to come back later and bowl himself. So that made it a little bit easier for me, but I still found it to be very, very hard. So about Snigdha, tell me about how her career has progressed in the last couple of years.
I think it has progressed very well, and she has put in a lot of effort from her side and from our side too. Whatever the normal, sports person's parents have to go through, we have also gone through. There have been some ups and downs when you expect something and something else happens. It's good. It has been a great journey, I would say.
So, Rachna and Siddha were in India for 1 month. Recently, she was net bowler for Delhi Capitals.
Snigdha was
She just
there,
came
and
back.
I was there with her.
Did you say a netballer?
Yeah.
Delhi Capital. She went for a month. I think we should talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
I just heard, and Ranjit is kind of off the mic, so it's kind of hard to hear. But let me repeat what I just heard. Snigdha was in Delhi for a month playing netball for the Delhi Capitals.
Yeah. Yes. Almost 25 days.
First of all, where do you even find anywhere in the United States to practice netball? Secondly, how long has she been playing netball?
No,
No.
in the WPL.
Mm-hmm.
WPL in India.
WPL Women's Premier League that is happening.
Oh, you
So
said.
Delhi Capitals cricket team, she was taken as the net bowler. So whenever they
Oh,
used to
net
practice,
bowler. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying netball, like
Okay,
basketball.
I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, different, but still the Delhi Capitals.
Yeah.
So she's called in as a net bowler for the Delhi
Yeah,
Capitals.
yeah.
Tell me about that. What's that
Oh,
like?
it was a good experience. She was bowling to some of the greats like Meg Lanning, then
Wow.
other players, Indian players, then the foreign players. It was a good experience.
So how do you come across that opportunity? How did she get on their radar?
Our academy there, we have an academy, Mustangs Cricket Academy. They approached us, so they said
What's the name of the academy?
Mustangs Cricket Academy.
Mustangs Cricket Academy. Okay, you couldn't see, but I am a commentator and an umpire because I just gave that one out. This is a sort of a fortuitous wicket because she was looking to sweep that behind square, and on the backswing, the ball looped up off of her bat to give the keeper the easiest of catches that she'll ever take, and that is the third wicket that goes down. So, tell us about the academy and then talk.
So they approached us. So they said we are going to see if they select. So they told us that yeah, she can go. So then there was a question of missing school and all that. So that was sorted out. Then I went with her, stayed in Mumbai, and then she used to, whenever they used to have practice in D.Y. Patil Stadium, we used to go there. She used to bowl to their team. So it was a very, learning bowling to these great people.
Absolutely fantastic. And her experience in that environment does nothing but help her here. Would you not say?
Yeah, it helps, definitely. In every way, it will, though she was a net bowler, but it will show you in case of batting also.
Mm-hmm.
So bowling, she was a confident bowler, but when you bowl to such people, your confidence grows. That okay, maybe if I bowl like this, my people might hit me, or I should do this. There's always a learning.
Of course, of course. So speaking of hitting, this is a free hit, tossed up delivery, lofted down the ground, just a couple of bounces down to long on. So is she a better bowler or a batter, would you say?
It depends on the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would rate her as a very good batter also and bowler. It depends on the day. Maybe she will bowl better on that day, or maybe it's her batting day.
Sure.
So, but she loves batting. I know that.
Most of us do.
Yeah.
Did you ever play yourself?
Not really. For fun part only. My husband used to play.
Okay. So he played. Where did you play?
Here, no. Me?
Yes, Dipanjan.
No, not Dipanjan. I'm talking about myself. So he used to play for school, and then he has played that. What's the name of the trophy? I'm forgetting. So
Ranji?
if I remember that, I'll tell you.
Ranji Trophy?
No, not Ranji Trophy.
Okay.
That CK Naidu.
Okay, so that I've never heard of.
So and he used to play for his college and all,
Okay.
but his parents didn't allow him to move for further.
Sure.
So he stopped playing. So I think those genes passed on to Snigdha.
Of course. So, net bowler, and then progressed. Oh, obviously, you have to be a bowler of some repute to get on the radar of the Delhi Capitals. but also tell me about what her long-term goal is with regard to cricket.
Yeah, she wants to take it as a profession.
Hmm.
She's totally into cricket.
Wonderful. So, how if you all live? Remind me where you live again.
I live in Dallas.
Dallas. Okay. And she's been around for a while. I've seen her play a number of times, but I don't know that I've seen her in the last year. It may have been in Maryland last year, I think. Maryland?
Unfortunately, she could not go to some of these domestic, this type of events where,
Mhm.
like NWCL.
Mhm.
So, but she has been playing cricket consistently locally. She plays for the adult team with men over there, Dallas team.
Really?
So,
Tell me about that.
uh, what do you want to know? Tell me.
Well, the fact that she plays for a
Yeah,
men's
they-
team in and of itself is a
in
wonderful thing.
in adult, she gets she bowls really beautifully. She
Mhm.
bowling to these men. Sometimes she gets batting also, so she's doing great. But she has been keeping busy, so unfortunately she could not be there for most of the games last year because she has been out of US, I think, almost for 4 months in the last year.
Okay.
So she missed their games. They're looking forward to getting her back.
Sure, sure. So going back to what you said about the Delhi Capitals, so it was difficult. What was the conversation like with her school where you said, look, she has an opportunity that she needs to take advantage of. She'll be gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
difficult was
in
that?
that case, USA Cricket helped us. They provided a letter, so I'm very grateful to her school, Lebanon Trail High School. They gave her excuse absence, otherwise it would not be possible
Sure.
without that. So I would give them a thumbs up for cooperating in this manner because some of the schools don't give excuse absence. So she has been getting that. So we got
Fantastic.
this, so then only we could go ahead with that
Hmm.
India tour.
That is fantastic. And in terms of her schoolwork, how difficult was it to get caught up with when she came back?
Oh, it has been terrible, Brian.
Oh, I
this
would
year,
imagine.
this year it has been terrible.
Yeah.
So we just said, she said, I'm going to try just to pass all these things.
Sure, sure.
Otherwise, she is a very good student. She used to do very well till 10th standard and 11. She missed so much of school that she is behind.
Well, she can be a good student, but if she misses 3 weeks of school, it's very difficult to get caught up again. So the fact that she's even able to talk about passing all of them is a testament to how good a student she is. So where do you want to see her end up? You've said what she wants, but what do you want for her?
I'm waiting for the day when she will be world number 1 cricketer.
Wow.
I think the day it happens, all her efforts will be proven right.
Sure, sure. World's number 1 cricketer. You went all the way to worlds, huh? You didn't
Yes,
stop at US.
definitely. No.
Absolutely love it. I love the confidence. And realistically, how far do you think she is away from being the world's number 1 cricketer?
Well, that's a little bit difficult question because we need more of cricket in US and going out and playing. So that's difficult for me to answer. I really don't know myself.
Mhm.
But if she continues the hard work she's doing, I'm sure one day she will be.
That is so wonderful to know and very inspirational too.
Thank
So,
you.
final question for me.
Yeah, sure.
If you have the choice
Mm-hmm.
between her being a professional cricketer
Hmm.
and seeing overall cricket develop in the US to the point that you can have a women's cricket league. I guess it's not an either or, it's not a choice.
Hmm.
How important is it, A, for her to be a professional cricketer, and then B, for that to happen here in the US?
It is difficult, but the way cricket is progressing, I am hopeful in the years to come.
Mhm.
So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that things get better and better, and I think it will happen here.
I remain an eternal optimist. Every once in a while, you see, it's the analogy I always use is if I'm driving from here to Dallas,
Yeah.
it's not always a straight north line.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the
Yeah, yeah.
highway will go like this. It will go like
Curves,
this.
then some roads might be broken
Yeah.
up. Then you might see an accident in the way.
There
That things will happen.
Yes, there might be a coyote in the middle of the road at one
Yeah,
stop.
yeah, yeah.
Another time, an 18-wheeler
But you
might
just
be
keep
blocking
driving.
the road.
That's it.
You keep driving. You keep driving. Well, listen, absolutely wonderful talking to you, and the best of luck to both you and
Thank
to
you.
Snigdha.
Thank you, Brian.
And everything that you've done for her and what your husband has done for her, I think is putting her on the path to be as successful as she can be.
Thank you so much for
You're
having
very,
me.
very welcome. Wonderful. So back to the game that we're covering. The score is 105-3 after 10.4. As a reminder, we're playing a truncated match. This is going to be a 15 over match. So one ball remaining. Oh, this is lofted in the air, deep square leg, and goes all the way. Let's see. Get the signal from umpire Aubrey Davis. Thinks it's 6, and he does signal 6. So that's a big hit by Anushka to end the innings, or to end the over. So at the end of the over, the score is 113-3. So just a quick recap of where we are. 113-3 after 11. So 4 overs to go. Chinmahi, 44 from 31, and Meha, 32 from 20, set the tone up top. Shrutika went without troubling the scores, but since then, Snigdha is on 12 from 8 with 1-4 and 1-6. And in fact, that was Snigdha who just hit that 6. My apologies. And Anushka, 6 from 5 with a boundary. So the bowlers have been relatively expensive. Ashwini, 2 overs for 25. Gayatri, 2 overs for 21. Mamatha Swami, 3 overs, 1 for 28. Nihali, 3 overs, 1 for 26. And Brinda Raghavan, 1 over for 10, and she took a wicket. And this is going to be Gayatri again. Iyer. This is driven down the ground. It's going to be a single, and that brings Snigdha back on strike. Snigdha 12 from 8. And partner Anushka 6 from 5. So 114-3 is the score. Just another 23 balls remaining here in this innings. And Gayatri now bowling around the wicket to the left-handed Snigdha Paul. 12 from 8. Powers it straight down the ground. That may run away for 4. It does. That's a good-looking shot. Going onto the back foot and absolutely blasting that through the V. The fielder running around from long on was not able to get across in time. And that is a boundary. The second boundary struck by Snigdha Paul. She's now up to 16 from 9 with 2 fours and the 6 that you saw to close out the last over. So scorecard ticking along now up to 18. Make that 118. Snigdha Paul, of course, the captain of the MCA women. And this is stroked down the ground again. Another in that same direction. That's well fielded by the fielder coming across from long off rather, and just results in a single. So Snigdha Paul, 23 matches across the National Women's Cricket. In fact, 23 matches total across the National Women's Cricket League. She's played 11 matches, 11 innings, scored 170 runs off 216 balls. Decent strike rate, 78.7. And her high score is 71. So certainly more than capable with the bat. And just a bit of a delay here while the keeper, I think they're changing keepers. 119-3 with 3 balls remaining here in the third over being bowled by Gayatri Iyer. Next delivery down the leg side, and it's going to be adjudged wide, rightly so. So with an eye towards the weather, and weather I don't mean from the standpoint of rain. I think rain is done for the day. But certainly we're at the stage where we start thinking about how long we're going to have light. It's right now, this is played through the offside for a single. It is right now going on to 6 o'clock. So this time of the year, it gets dark around 7:15. So I would think that the umpires would want to make sure that they get through these overs as quickly as possible, because wouldn't want to have to abandon the match because of light. And in fact, as of right now, with just 2 balls remaining here in the 12th over, this innings rather will be lasting at least another 20 or so minutes. So these are precious hours of time that are going by. And that ball is swept away behind square for another boundary. So runs now coming on thick and fast. Score now up to 126 for 3. With 1 ball remaining here in the 12th. Here's the last delivery. Short. And it's played into the cover, as toward extra cover. They run through for a single. That's all they'll get. That's all they need, because they've already had a very productive over. 14 runs coming from that over. And at the end of 12, the score is 127 for 3. So 127 for 3. We're at the back end of this innings. First innings in a match scheduled for 15 overs. 15 overs aside, and reduced by 5 overs because of the amount of rain that we've had today. This is Brenda with the ball in her hand. She's bowled 1 over so far for 10 runs and taken 1 wicket. So good bowling from her so far. Tossed up and played off the back foot. Wave and a miss outside off stump, and it goes through to the keeper for no run. Next delivery again, tossed up, using her feet and driving it to extra cover. Underhand throw. Boy, had that hit, she would have been out probably by 3 yards. But luckily for her, Anushka, she was able to get back in without much fuss. So Anushka Bilanuka, 67 matches, 701 runs and 14 wickets. In the National Women's Cricket League, she's played 6 matches, tossed up and driven right back past the bowler by Snigdha Paul. It's going to be at least 2. And they come back pretty comfortably for that second run. 6 matches, 4 innings, 2 not out, 42 runs off 66 balls with an average of 21, and a strike rate of 63.64. High score of 14. So maybe you don't expect a whole lot with the bat, but what you do is expect her to be able to stay there with Snigdha Paul. And if Snigdha Paul keeps doing that, pouncing on deliveries, going down the leg side and putting them away for 4, then that really is all that Anushka will need to do. So Snigdha now moving on to 19 from 11, make that 23 from 12. Next delivery now, she's going to have to find that right line. That line needs to be on off stump or outside off stump from over the wicket. Tossed up. And she goes big over mid wicket. Those are free runs, a full toss. In fact, it does not go all the way for 4. Thought for a second that it might, but it held up in the tall grass. Well, not necessarily the tall grass, but at least the wet grass. And so what ordinarily would have skidded across the ground for 4 only ends up being a double, but still a good productive over so far. 9 runs coming from it already. With 2 balls still to come. Using her feet. Can't get this one past short mid-wicket though. That's a good piece of fielding. Not fielded cleanly, but did enough to keep it from going by. And in fact, that was the last ball. So good close out to the over. Good fielding towards the back end of that over. 9 runs coming from it. At the end of 13, the score is 136 for 3. $136 for 3. Brenda, 1 for 19 from 2 overs. And this is going to be a new bowler. Good delivery. Played into the extra cover area for no run. This is Ashwini Chavan, the captain, coming back into the attack. Her first 2 overs cost 25 runs. Bowling now to Anushka. Going off the back foot this time, trying to force it behind point. Not able to make contact. So 2 dot balls to start this, the penultimate over of the innings. It's a good start by the captain, Ashwini. It's taking a little bit of time to get going here. As I said, it's going to be a bit of a concern with the light later on. Good delivery, struck on the pad. And immediately umpire Manish Singh shaking his head, nope. But that is a good piece of bowling, very full in the block hole. Really playing across that one was Anushka. Luckily for her, it was adjudged to have not been out, not heading towards the stumps. Next delivery. And she whips it around the corner for 4. That is a good looking shot. A little too straight that time from the captain. Ashwini Chavan getting that one going down the leg side. That right arm angle over the wicket. Has it angling down towards the leg side. Whereas had it been a delivery outside the line of off stump, that would have been a better choice. And just easily helping that foot to helping herself from that ball to 4 runs was Anushka. Anushka now up to 19 from 15. Snigdha 25 from 14. Very aggressive. Next delivery. Short and forcing it off the back foot over cover. Should be just 1. And that's Izzy Slade-Jones out there patrolling the boundary and getting that ball back in. That's good work from her to make sure that the damage is limited. And now just 1 ball remaining in the 14th. 7 balls remaining in the innings. Once again, we're playing a T15 match. The number of overs reduced to accommodate for the reduced time that we have to play this match, given the rain earlier and given the fact that it's going to be dark right around 7:15 is when I'd say it would be difficult to play. Switches to go around the wicket, and that's whipped away. Going to be close to the boundary. Is the Slade-Jones coming across? And that's just a couple more. So good batting, taking advantage of the loose deliveries when she gets them. is Snig Nepal, and that one goes not to the boundary, but still a relatively productive over. 7 runs coming from it. But in the context of things, though, the penultimate over of the innings going for 7 when the overall run rate is 10.21. It's actually not bad bowling by the captain, Ashwini Chavan. So 1 ball remaining, 1 over remaining rather. Snigdha Paul is on 27 from 15. Anushka Bilanuka is on 20 from 16, and it will be Anushka who is on strike. This is going to be Brinda who comes in to bowl this last over of the innings. 143 runs are on the board. If you heard our junior commentator earlier, Disha, I think that's exactly the number she said, 140-150. This is tossed up and stroked to extra cover. They run for a quick single. I think that was just designed to get Snigdha Paul back on strike. So regardless of what happened there, I think they were going to be running. And now with Snigdha Paul on strike, look for her to pepper that boundary on the leg side. It's one of her favorite scoring areas. And she drives this one straight down the ground. They'll get 1. That should be the only thing that they'll get. Good fielding. And has to also be said, good bowling. That ball is right in the block hole, not allowing Snigdha the opportunity to get under that delivery. So she was not able to loft it in her favorite scoring areas as she ordinarily would. So just 4 balls remaining in the innings now. Overall run rate is 10.12. This next delivery, tossed up, forces it off the back foot throw coming into the keeper's end, direct hit. And not interested. Just shaking the head is Mani Singh at square leg. Boy, that's a good accurate throw coming in from the covers though. Has to be said. So good cricket all around. Committed for to the single. And they immediately go for that single. And a good piece of cricket in terms of picking up and throwing to the stumps. But the fact that she slid her bats, Snigdha Paul, made it possible for her to continue batting. 3 delivers remaining in the innings. Driven straight down the ground again. This is a low full toss. 4 balls and 4 singles. So this is really good bowling here by Brinda Raghavan. So just last 2 balls coming up. About to bowl now to Anushka, 22 from 18. In the air, oh, it was dropped. It was struck hard, but catchable. Fielder, short cover. You see her receiving commiserations from her teammates. That ball was struck pretty hard. And here is the last ball of the innings. Stroke down the ground, excellent bowling. In fact, she tried to strike it down the ground. It just trickles off a thick inside edge, runs to square leg, and that is all that they get. What a good over. Good last 2 overs. This last over only going for 6 runs. And the last over, or the penultimate over, bowled by the captain Ashwini, going for 7 runs. So to get 13 runs, concede 13 runs in the last 2 overs, that is excellent, excellent bowling. So that is the end of the innings. 149 on the board. And at the end of the innings, I think the happier of the 2 teams right now would be the MCA women, but they have to come out and defend these runs. So we'll get exactly what is going on here at a minute as we come back in and look at the quick scorecard. Chinmahi 44, Meha 32, Snigdha Paul 30, not out from 18, 3 fours and a 6, and Anushka Bilanuka 23 from 19. The bowling Wickets were shared, one each by Mamata Swami, Nehali Nyogi, and Brinda Raghavan. And the other two bowlers, relatively expensive. Ashwini Chavan, 3 overs, none for 32, and Gayatri Iyer, 3 overs, none for 35. So, short break, and we'll be coming back for the chase very shortly. Just stay where you are. We will be back. Welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Stadium for the final innings of the day. The small matter of 150 runs needs to be chased by the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. The MCA women, after having put up 149 runs, will be looking to restrict the scoring of this opening pair. Izzy Slade Jones, and we'll get the name of the second opener as soon as it becomes available. And operating with the ball in hand, coming from the Massey Ranch Road end, is going to be Aditi Praveen Kumar. So another 150 runs needed. Izzy Slade Jones taking first strike, I believe, and we'll get the name of that second opener as soon as we can get it. Umpires at this stage are going to be in a race against time because it is now 6:17, so I'm going to estimate that it will be dark in exactly an hour. So the umpires have to make sure that they force the issue to have these bowlers and the fielding side get through the overs as quickly as possible. 15 overs in an hour is possible, but it's very tight, and they'll be up against it in terms of being able to operate within the allowable hours for sunlight. Now, there's a bit of a delay. Don't know whether or not that has to do with the fact that the scorecard has not yet updated, but every minute is going to be very precious at the back end of this inning. So this is going to be something that has to be addressed as soon as possible, because just again, 150 runs needed, but they need to make sure that they get these overs through. Good ball to start with, left arm over the wicket and slanting that one across the left-handed Izzy Slade, or the right-handed Izzy Slade Jones. So the first ball is underway, and we're looking to make sure that we get through these overs as quickly as possible, as I mentioned. So if you are the Chickadees, you want to score the runs as quickly as possible. If you are the MCA women, you want to get through your overs as quickly as possible. You don't want to run out of time at the back end of this match. Outside off, and the one thing that will delay this innings is if there are a bunch of extras being bowled. So first wide of the innings so far. So once again, the scoreboard just now being updated. That is Izzy Slade Jones on strike. 1 run is on the board. Still awaiting confirmation on the non-striker. Big drive and a miss outside off. And dot ball. Left arm angle bowling over the wicket, I think, is easily the preferred angle. And that angle that's created with that ball going across and having beaten the outside edge a couple of times, the slip fielder is now in position. Now this one is just well too wide. And watch, there's umpire Aubrey Davis signaling a wide ball. A number of those so far in this match. 2 runs that have been scored so far have been scored via the wide ball route. Nothing yet off the bat, but another 148 runs to get. And those 148 runs need to be scored in 88 balls or fewer. Aditya Praveen Kumar again, left arm seamer. Bowling over the wicket, and again a slip fielder in position. This is a good ball, and again beating the outside edge once again, but it gets through the keeper, and they'll get something close to 2 byes, just 1 bye actually. There's a signal by umpire Aubrey Davis. So still no runs yet off the bat. 3 runs are on the board, but they've all been extras. And here is the information for the second batter. It is going to be Mitali Patwardhan. Good delivery, and it's stroked through the covers, square of the wicket. That's a good-looking shot, and that's 4 runs. Absolutely brilliant shot. Just opening the face and guiding it through that point area, and it races away for 4. Good, proper-looking cricket shot. So the first runs off the bat race through point for the first boundary of the innings. 2 balls remaining. Once again, the score is 7 without loss. We're chasing 143 more runs and need a total of 150 for victory. Do the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. MCA women are going to be asked to pull back what I think has been a relatively ragged start so far. A number of extras, and this is a much better delivery. That's where she wants to be, on that off-stump line, just short of driving length. And it is defended into the offside for no run. So just 1 ball remaining here in the over. Good line again, but the length is a little too full, and it's driven through the offside, racing away across the boundary ropes for 4. So that's the second 4 in the over. A very productive over for the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. After 1 over, the score is 11 without loss. So 11 without loss, 1 over up, another 14 maximum to go, and another 139 runs needed for victory. Required rate is around, in fact, is exactly 9.93, so just under 10 runs and over needed. And the bowler coming from the Pearland end is going to be Srinidhi Sagiraju. Full, just going past the outside edge. Izzy Slade Jones looking to drive and not making contact. So Srinidhi Sagiraju with that her first over. Right arm bowling over the wicket. Not a lot of experience as that ball is wide outside off. Not a lot of experience in the National Women's Cricket League. Only played 1 match. Did not take any wickets. Did not score any runs. But, in fact, that's her batting figures. Bowling, it's about the same. Nothing shows for either batting or bowling. So relatively new. But if she's given the ball to open or to share the new ball, then that speaks to what I think is at least some talent with the ball. First couple of deliveries, though, have been too far outside off stump, and they've both been adjudged to be wide, so she's going to have to get that line a little bit closer. Want that ball on that off stump line. And now just a little bit of adjustment being made in the field and a quick chat between the 2 batters. Izzy Slade Jones, no runs yet from 4 deliveries faced. And again, looking to guide that one behind point, but once again, another wide. So you don't have a lot of runs to play. Actually, you have a certain amount of runs to play with. 150 is a pretty stiff target, but you need to be able to chase them in probably right now about 50 minutes because, as I said, the sun is going to start going down right around 7:15. This is stroke to short extra cover for no run. So I have a dot ball here. Now this next delivery. Looks to whip that away. It's going to be going down the leg side. Half-hearted appeal for LBW, but I think that was always going to be missing leg. You see on your screen just a panoramic view of the entire facility. As we see here, get a good look at the replay. Yeah, that angle is taking it down the leg side. Next delivery. Very full and down the leg side. So once again, just having trouble finding that right line is Srinidhi Sagiraju. And I hate to keep belaboring the point, but each one of these extras becomes an element that extends this game far beyond where it should be, and that means that you're pushing up against dusk when it does come. And this is driven off the outside edge, and they run through for a single, not the contact that Izzy Slade Jones was looking for. I think she was looking to push that through the covers. Comes off the thick outside edge and runs the backward point, but she'll take those runs any way she can get them, and that gets her off the mark. Mitali Patwardhan is on 8 from 3. And Izzy Slade Jones again just off the mark with that single. Next delivery down the leg side once again. Stop me if you've heard this before. So these are very expensive overs. 16 runs, make that 17 runs are on the board. And up those 17 runs, some 8 are extras. So obviously some cleanup work needed to do here from the bowling side. Next delivery, played back down the wicket for no run. So just one ball remaining now into the second over. Once again, this is the third of 3 matches that are brought to you today. The first went for 20 overs. The second was truncated to an 8-over affair. And this third match, we're now into the second over. 2 overs are done. That is the end of the over. At the end of 2, the score is 17 without loss. "17 without loss after 2. As a reminder, this is the National Women's Cricket League Houston Women's T20 Championship presented by SMK Global and iStrive Technologies. SMK Global with Avni and Abhijit Patel, and iStrive Technologies with Padma and Sudhakar Kanumuri. So thank you to both iStrive and SMK Global, and Mr. and Mrs. Patel and Mr. and Mrs. Akamuri. Make that Kanumuri, my apologies. But thank you for your support of women's cricket. Thank you for your support of cricket in general. And then this is the second over to be bowled now. Third overall in the innings to be bowled by Aditi Praveen Kumar. This is stroked into the offside. They'll get a single. That should be all they'll get as the throw comes back into the non-striker's end. So they're needing to score now at the rate of 10.29 and over. So I would suspect that you'll see them being a little bit more aggressive. Once again, not only are they chasing a pretty stiff target, but they're going up against the sun. The sun should be disappearing behind the horizon somewhere around. In fact, I can tell you an exact time if I go by. If I trust what my weather app says, predicts that the sunset will be around 7:35. So if the sun sets at 7:35, generally means it starts getting dark around 7:15, 7:20, with the sun going down at 7:35. So that, for me, gives us about another 45 minutes in which to get this match finished. Squirted away through the offside. In fact, it's fumbled at backward point and they get a single. So Izzy Slade Jones is on 2 from 8. She's now on strike. Mitali Patwardhan 9 from 7. So she's been slightly more enterprising. But the second highest score in the inning so far is extras. And this is stroked square of the wicket, running close to the boundary. They'll get 2. And they come back for that second. So some urgency needs to be injected into this match. I hate to keep saying it, but we will end up running out of daylight and make the chase difficult. So here at this stage, we're looking, I would think, given that there's another 129 runs needed, you're going to need to go at a pretty decent rate to overhaul this total. As of right now, if it went through the full 15, you'd need to score at the rate of 10.46 and over. But I think the full 15 may be in danger of not happening because of the fact, again, that the sun should be going down somewhere around, well, officially 7:35, but it will get dark before then. Question will become then, how do the umpires handle it? And do they believe that under the circumstances where light is fading, that the batters are being put into a dangerous position? This is zipped past the outside edge for yet another dot ball. That is the last ball of the third over rather. And at the end of 3, the score is 21 without loss. Three overs bowled. We're starting the 4th, and this is Chinmahi Aribuselvan. First delivery rather, is well outside the line of off stump and adjudged wide by umpire Mani Singh. So 3 straight deliveries outside the line of off stump. 2 of them have been adjudged wide by Chinmahi. Still see her twirling her arms, suggesting that she's not fully stretched out or fully warmed up. And it's going to be up to her to get this ball on the stumps. Have them play you from the stumps. Next delivery. That's more where she needs to be. Just a wave and a miss outside off stump. There's a slip fielder in position. Of course, the keeper, captain, snigged up Paul behind the stumps. That's Giovanna, who's at first slip. There's a deep mid wicket, and there's a fielder down at deep third. Chinmahi again. Squeezed off the outside edge, picked up at the last minute by the fielder down at deep third. And when I say picked up, I mean she didn't realize it was coming towards her until several seconds after the ball was played. But either way, that is going to be 2 more runs to the total. And now you're looking at a stage where, looking off to our west and seeing where the sun is, I would estimate it's probably 10 degrees above the horizon. This one is again outside the line of off stump. And this, unfortunately, is turning into a bit of a long over. 4 runs already. Make that 5 runs already from it, 3 of which were wides. Next delivery. Once again, another wide. Boy. So 27 runs on the board, 3.3 overs to go. This is Chinmahi's first over. 3 legal deliveries already. She's run in 7 times already this over, but 4 of which... And she knocked her over. Look at that delivery. She does get one on the stumps. And when she gets it on the stumps, she gets it right. And I'll tell you, that one was being played down the leg side by Mitali Patwardhan. You see here on the replay, looking to play this one. I've said this a number of times already today. These batters sometimes commit the sin of playing across straight balls. Right there, and she moves too far across, actually trying to glance that one. She's trying to play that behind square. That is a very enterprising shot. If it works, you look like a genius. I've seen Viv Richards himself do that a number of times in the past. But if it doesn't work and you get bowled behind your back, well, that's less than optimal. So another 2 balls remaining here in this, the 4th over. First wicket goes down. Mitali Patwardhan is dismissed after having scored. (11 from 11) with 2 boundaries. So 1 ball remaining. Make that 2 balls remaining here in the 4th over. And the scoring rate that is required for the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs to win from here is already at 10.85. That rate is increasing. So the very first over yielded 11 runs, but after that 6 and 4. And 6 already so far in this over. So the required rate started out needing 10 runs and over, needing to get exactly 150 from 15 overs. And that required rate is sneaking upwards now toward 11. So you're certainly going to want to make sure that you get that taken care of. And with the score at 27, another 123 runs to get. Long way to go for both teams. This is played off the back foot, but straight to backward point, no run. So Chinmahi just finding a little bit of trouble finding the right length and the right line. But once she found the right line, she took a wicket, knocking over Mitali Patwardhan. And now this new batter is Ashwini. Outside the line of off stump. And umpire Mani Singh allows that one to go through without punishing her for it. It was on the border. And he chose Mani Singh to just allow that one to be called just a dot ball. So that is the end of the over. A good over despite the 4 wides. And even with those 4 wides, only 6 runs came from it. So you're doing better there to hold down the scoring rates. And then the bonus wicket developed when Mitali Patwardhan moved too far across and was bowled behind her back. And that is the end of the 4th over. Score is 27 for 1. First ball of the 5th over is a full toss that is about shoulder height. It is immediately called and signaled no ball by the square leg umpire Mani Singh. This is Anushka Bilanuka. And she's going to have to pitch that ball because you can't get away bowling too many. In fact, you can't bowl any of them without being punished. And if you bowl more than 2, in theory, the umpires can stop you from bowling the rest of the innings. So you're going to have to pitch these deliveries. Tossed up, full toss on the free hit, and it is hit down the leg side. Good sliding stop down there on the boundary. And that free hit delivery only cost them 1 run. And it was actually dangerously close to being called another free hit. And she gets away with that. Anushka. 1 delivery officially into her spell. This is forced off the back foot. Should just be a single. Sweeper doing the work out there, coming in off the cover boundary to clean up. And once again, just watching the clock versus the number of runs. So 119 more runs remaining. A swipe and a miss outside off. Half-hearted appeal for a stumping, but I don't think there was any realistic option of that being given out. But it is another dot ball. And with each dot ball, of course, the required rate continues to climb. It's now at 11.33. And more than anything else, you just want this game to be over with on the field of play. You don't want it to be stopped because of the conditions. Tossed up and again played through the cover as that is that sweeper coming in off the boundary. Was able to prevent that from going away for 4. 2 balls remaining now in the 5th. Another 118 runs needed from 62 balls. Oh, that's going to be a stumping. Absolutely. Well bowled, tossed up. Is the Slade Jones leaning forward and overbalancing, unfortunately for her. And a quick collection by Snigdha Paul and whips the stumps off, or whips the bails off rather. And that is the end of Izzy Slade Jones. 6 for 13, or from 13. I think you'll see here on the replay that she just leaned forward and overbalanced. Tossed up slowly and coming forward. Yeah, the momentum taking her forward well out of the crease, and that back leg could not get back in time. And Snigdha Paul doing the dirty work to complete that stumping. So the second wicket goes down. Just 1 ball remaining here in the 5th over. And the score is 32 for 2. So two relatively new batters are at the crease for the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. Captain Ashwini Chavan is the non-striker, and the new batter to the crease is Nihali Nyogi. Nihali is going to be facing one delivery, one ball remaining here in the fifth. 32 for 2 is the score, and a bit of a delay. Not exactly sure what the purpose is of the delay. That just gives us a little bit of time to look into Miss Nyogi's figures. Plays it off the back foot. No run, and that's the end of the over. So 5 bowled. A long way to go here because the Loudoun Cubs need another 118 from 10 overs. 11.8 and over is a pretty stiff ask. But back to Miss Nyogi. 8 matches, 53 runs and 1 wicket. Playing for both the National Women's Cricket League and has also been around the USA Cricket setup. 8 matches, 5 innings, 1 not out, and 53 runs from 102 balls and 13.25 average. Strike rate of 51.96 and a high of 20. So they'll need a lot more from her if they're going to get anything close to this total. First of all, you're in a truncated match where there's a pretty stiff target being chased. And then, of course, the second reason is that you're definitely looking at an uphill battle as far as being able to get the match completed before the fall of rain, before the nightfall. Looking to force this away on the leg side. So 2 deliveries, 2 dot balls, and the pressure is building. So the first 2 balls of Chinmahi's second over, both have been dot balls. And the score has been at 32 for a number of deliveries now. The last 2 deliveries in the last over were dots, one of which was a wicket. This is whipped around the corner. Should only get 1. And there's a good strong throw that comes back into the keeper. It's a good piece of work, but once again just results in a single. And we're now at the point where you need more than 2 runs off of every ball the rest of the way if you're going to win this match, the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. And so a lot of work to be done here. And in any condition, this is going to be a stiff chase. Looking to go across the line again. Swiping across the line. Those balls really need to be played down the ground. You commit the cardinal sin when you play across them. Umpire Mani Singh indicating that that last one was high, so that's why the LBW decision was turned down. But you're tying yourself into knots here if you are the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. Going into the last ball of the 6th with only 33 runs on the board. And she cuts this away. This is a good-looking shot that will get to the boundary for 4. A very welcome boundary. Needed that one. The Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. And just leaning on the back foot was Nihali and cutting that one away through. Look at this stroke. Staying leg side of the ball to access and provide the leverage on the offside. And that ball, even though it was only on about a 5th stump line, because she stayed leg side of the ball, that created just that extra bit of leverage to get that boundary. And in fact, I thought that was the last ball of the over. This apparently is now the last ball of the over. She tries to force it away again off the back foot, not able to force it away. So 5 runs coming from the over. It was a good over in the context of this game, even with the boundary. So you restricted your opponent, the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs, if you're the MCA women. You restricted them inside 6 overs to only 37 runs, just scoring at barely over a run and over. A run a ball, I'm sorry. 6 runs and over. And that current score of 37 for 2 means that they need another 113 runs in another 54 balls. So I would have to think that desperation has to start setting in at some point for the Chickadee Loudoun Cubs. Tossed up delivery outside the line of off, but it's going to be considered or adjudged wide by umpire Aubrey Davis. Next delivery, outside the line of off again and lofted over extra cover this time. Should just be a single though. Fielder from mid-off, skipping across and cutting that one off. So Anushka Bilanuka slower through the air, looking to drag that one from outside the line of off stump and not able to get anything on it. So looking at Anushka's numbers, playing for the MCA women, total matches 67 in total, 710 runs and 15 wickets. So with the ball in the National Women's Cricket League, as this is again outside off, she's played 6 T20s, 4 innings, bowled 11 overs total, conceded 44 runs and taken 3 wickets at an average of 14.67. An economy rate of 4 is excellent. This only shows that in 6 matches she's had 11 wides. This is attempted sweep outside off, and umpire Aubrey Davis is unmoved. So a long way to go, and this becomes more and more of an uphill climb. So even without that appeal being granted by Aubrey Davis, you're still at this stage looking at, this is lofted, simple catch taken at mid-wicket. Very straightforward catch. The pressure is building. It was eventually going to happen, and unfortunately for Nihali, she's only able to loft that one gently, meekly, tamely to mid-wicket. Pretty straightforward catch in the end, taken by Aradia Vashith. Pulled, hit high up on the splice of the bat. Not much power behind it. And it was only collecting that ball. It was not hit very hard. It was just a matter of pouching it. And that was done without much fuss. So the 3rd wicket goes down, 40 runs on the board. And at this stage, it's starting to feel like it's more likely that the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs will be bowled out than it is them chasing 120 or 110 more runs in the next 50 balls. So once again, bearing in mind that the sun is starting to disappear now. It's going down. It's still relatively high, but with the projected sunset at 7:35, you're right now at 6:56. I don't know that you can get through the next 9 overs, make that 8 overs in the half an hour or so of light that we have left. It will be tight, and umpire Aubrey Davis and umpire Mani Singh will certainly be exhorting the MCA women to get on with the game. But of course, a very long conference by the incoming batter, the existing batter Ashwini, the captain, and the coaching staff. So this is not going to help matters any, and you're going to need to make sure that this game gets moving. Not exactly sure why we're choosing now to have a conference, but for better or for worse, I think we'll be getting on with the game right now. So the new batter is going to be Brinda Raghavan, and she joins her captain Ashwini Chavan at the wicket. Brinda Raghavan, right-handed batter. And her figures, 35 matches, 89 runs, and 27 wickets. So for the National Women's Cricket League, she's played 14 matches, 9 innings, scored 36 runs, so averaging just a touch above 4 with that one not out, and a strike rate of 25-17, high of 11. So you get the sense that this is slipping further and further away from the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. Tossed up delivery and goes back and has this ball. Did that bowl her, or was it attempted stumping that missed? It did not bowl her. That was, I think, looking at the replay, I think you'll see that the stumps were broken by the captain, Snigdha Paul. Here we see. Going back, yeah. In fact, that very easily could have been called a no ball. And the captain may consider herself lucky there, because she may have just collected that ball or attempted to collect it in front of the stumps. But not called, and so that is the end of the over. At the end of the over, the score is 40-3. New bowler starts out with a wide. New bowler is Aradia. Aradia bowling right arm over the wicket. And the clouds are certainly parting, but the issue for us now is not the clouds, but it's the sun disappearing behind them. Slower through the air and slapped down to mid-on. They run through for a quick single. Had that been a clean pickup, there might have been a question or two asked of Brinda herself running towards the non-strikers end. Luckily for her, it was not adjudged. In fact, it wasn't picked up cleanly. Next delivery, slow and just missing outside off. That was watched very closely by umpire Mani Singh. Next delivery, slapped away on the offside. This should be 2. No, they just decide to go for that 1. So looking at the required rate, it is now up to 14.27. And I do have to say that the chances of chasing this target appear to be very, very remote. Looking for the big swing and the miss. Missing out is Ashwini, the captain. And there is a feeling of inevitability seeping in to the camp. This is another wave and a miss outside off stump. In fact, that's called a no ball. A no ball and a free hit. I'd like to see exactly what that was, what the reason was for that. Here you see umpire Mani Singh pointing out to Aradia that she may have just overstepped that popping crease. And so this is now a free hit to be faced by Ashwini Chavan, the captain. Gets it away, running behind square on the leg side. All they'll get is 1, even though She wanted to come back for 2, the captain. But ultimately, the free hit doesn't really hurt. And so just 1 ball remaining here in the 8th. We're just past the halfway stage of the innings. Tossed up, hit on the ground, 2 extra cover for no run. That is the end of 8. Another 7 overs remaining, another 42 balls, and another 105 runs needed. I think you can sort of see where this one is headed. Long way to go. For the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs and the MCA women can still outright win this. It'll be interesting to see what the umpire's decision is when it starts getting closer to nightfall, depending on how far apart the teams are, particularly the Chickadees, from that total. If they would probably just do the smart thing and award the game to the MCA women. I don't think that you want to see us trying to force a result in the darkness. And that might be a question for the organizers, not for me, but something to pay attention to. This is slapped down the ground. It's going to be at least 2, and in fact, it goes all the way for 4. So welcome boundary by Ashwini. She now moves up to 14 from 17. No, I'm sorry. With that boundary, she moves to 10 from 16. So an absolute long way to go here. But you take those boundaries when you get them. Run rate now exactly at 6. And the required rate 14.78. So you're very far. You're very far adrift of where you need to be in terms of the run rate. And now you're just looking to see if you can sort of build some momentum for the rest of the tournament. This is struck firmly down the ground. This may get close to the boundary. They'll get 2. Throw coming into the non-strikers, and she's going to be out. Oh, my goodness. This appeared to have been a good, strong throw, but having looked at the way she was running, I don't know that she had the necessary urgency. Look at the top of the screen, just jogging there and just barely touching down and then jogging backward. This requires a lot more urgency than what we see here. That dive at the end did not save her. And unfortunately for Brenda, she is dismissed, having gone back for that second run. And they slip further into the mire, do the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. The 50s up with that first run that was attempted, but the second run that was attempted was not successful, and it ended up causing a wicket. So 4 wickets are down, and the score is 50 for 4 after 8.2. So 50 for 4 and exactly 100 more runs needed. 100 runs needed from 40 balls to go. So you need to be going at this stage at the rate of about 15 and over. 50 for 4. Looking to use her feet. That's a good looking shot, but doesn't get it away very far. Good strong throw. Whoa, that throw was traveling. That is a good strong throw. And another 2 balls remaining here in the 9th. And we're always going to be up against it here. We're about right now 20 minutes from sunset. This ball is outside the line of off. No run. Last ball, pushed through, lofted in the air, and goes down to the sweeper on the offside. So that is a single to close things out in the 9th. 7 runs coming from the over, but the important wicket. So Things getting much, much more difficult for the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. The MCA women appear to be on the verge of a pretty straightforward victory. After 9, the score is 52-4. So we're into, in theory, the last 6 overs of the match. Tossed up delivery, outside edge. Had there been a slip fielder there, they would have been in business. But the ball doesn't deflect far away enough to get a single, so it's just a dot ball. Tossed up, and the ball again fizzing by the outside edge. And this feels like about the last time that we need to point out the required rate. The required rate is now 17.29. Effectively, the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs need 3 runs off of every ball. And this is going to be a no ball signaled because it landed off the playing surface. So that has happened a number of times today. And it certainly has, number one, had the effect of prolonging the day, but number two, exposed to the bowlers that they need to control their line and their length more accurately. But here the dot ball does not hurt. That was a free hit, and they were not able to score off the free hit. Tossed up delivery, and it's played to square leg. Some uncertainty about running that time, but they run through eventually for a run. So just 2 balls remaining here in the 10th. My goodness. After this, there'll be 5 overs left, and there's still 96 runs to go. So I started saying 3 runs off of every ball from this stage needed. So for me, the final score is unknown, but it seems just like only one team can win it from here. That is outside off. Big swing and a miss. Ashwini, the captain, has been there for 20 deliveries. She's on strike. She's scored 12 runs. And this is Kamal, who is on strike, who's on the non-strikers end. And here we are for the last ball of the 10th. Oh, coming down the wicket, looking to use her feet. Got beaten in flight. Luckily for her, under-edged it such that keeper and captain Snigdha Paul could not have effected a stumping. But that makes things that much more difficult. Only 3 runs, make that 2 runs scoring from that over. The last 5 have only yielded 22 runs. So at the end of 10, the score is 54-4. And just a small matter of 5 overs to go. Last 5 overs. And this is going to be Aradia. Make that Jivana. Aras. Jivana is the vice captain. Right arm over the wicket, coming into bowl to Kamal. Oh, this is sprayed down the leg side, and I'll tell you, that is a good piece of work by Captain Snigdha Paul behind the stumps. Had she not stopped that from getting by, it's already a wide, so you would have already been looking at 1 extra. But she saved a certain 4 runs because that was headed straight down toward fine leg for a boundary. With fine leg inside the circle, she would not have gotten across to get that. Good line. That is exactly the line you need to be on. She was able to get that one exactly in the right area. So much better ball to start officially the first over, or her first over. The first ball was adjudged to have been a wide, so that was the first official ball. Good delivery again. Yorker length played into the covers. They'll get a single. So, said it a couple times. This game certainly has an air of inevitability about it. And the only question now is knowing what is the final score going to be. Ashwini, the captain, 12 from 21. Kamal, 3 from 9. And this is Giovanna. Good delivery, and the stroke in the air, just landing short of mid-on though. And it was in the air for a while, so you thought there might have been a chance of a catch. But choosing to not attempt to catch that one. In fact, I don't think realistically that mid-on could have gotten close to that. So just another single. And another 27 balls needed. Good delivery. Bang on target that time. On middle and off line at a good length. Good hard length. That takes away the option to drive the ball. So this is really good bowling by Giovanna. So she started out with a wide, but the last 4 deliveries after that have all been bang on target. Next ball, Yorker length. And played away into the offside. Throw coming to the striker's end. But they were not bothered in any way. They were able to run through for that single. So just 1 ball remaining. 4 runs coming from the over so far, including that wide. This is a good over being bowled by Giovanna. Giovanna Arras. Here she is again, and she knocks her over. That was always on the cards, keeping it full and straight. And great bowling in the block hole, Yorker length. And the off stump is pegged back. So the 5th wicket goes down. Giovanna Arras into her first over. Takes the wicket of Ashwini, the captain. 13 from 22. She marches off. And that is the end of the 11th over. Just another 24 balls remaining. And 58 for 5 is the score. Another 92 runs needed. That you can be pretty sure that they're not going to get that. Here we see on the replay. Right in the block hole. Absolutely full and straight. And just playing all over that one was Ashwini Chavan, looking to play that to mid-wicket. And unfortunately, that is the end of her day. And you can see on the screen how dark it's getting. The sun technically is still up, but it's very dark. And for me, discretion being the better part of valor, I'd probably just suggest to each captain that we call it off, because it's a pretty straightforward equation from here as to who is going to win, unless you're going to take into account elements like net run rate. But for me, the better thing to do would just be to understand who's going to win this game, and we all go home happy. So this is Aradia bowling her second over, make that her third over. The first 2 went for 7 runs combined. Tossed up, and the outside edge found. The outside edge has been found a number of times by Aradia. This is good bowling from her. It tells me she's bowling the right line, keeping it on that off stump line. A target of 59 for 5. Really just waiting to see what the final score is going to be here. Once again, this is the National Women's Cricket League Houston Women's T20 Championship presented by SMK Global and iStrive Technologies. And this is now Mamata on strike for the first time. Mamata Swami. 7 matches, 29 runs and 5 wickets. Tossed up and it's lofted in the air, not going to carry the backward point. Oh, bit of a fumble. That could have been another run out, but for now, everyone lives to fight another day. So 7 matches and those 29 runs, she scored them from 51 balls with an average of 14.5, strike rate of 56.86. And this is hit in the air. Pretty simple catch taken. Oh no, she dropped it. And then a direct hit at the non-striker's end, not in time. Snigged up Paul with the arms outstretched, saying, how could you possibly have dropped that? Pretty straightforward catch. I don't think that there was much mystery. But once again, that might emphasize to me the point that battling here in the dark as the light continues to fade may not be in the best interest of everyone. Tossed up delivery going off the back foot, looking to play through mid-wicket. And just 2 balls remaining here in the 12th. Almost an action replay. Swipe and a miss. Had the ball outside the line of off. So consecutive dot balls. 61 for 5. Just 1 ball remaining here in this over. 19 balls remaining in the match. Tossed up. Too far outside off stump this time and signaled wide by umpire Mani Singh. Just a quick recap of where we are. Chickadees Loudoun Cubs asked to score 150. Izzy Slade Jones 6 from 14. Mitali Patwardhan 11 from 11. And this ball is knocked into the mid-wicket area. Throw coming into the striker's end. They steal a single, and that is the last ball of the 12th. 5 runs coming from it. The score is 63 for 5. Let's just keep going through the scorecard. Ashwini Chavan 13 from 23 with 1-4. Nihali Niyogi 5 from 5 with 1-4. And Brinda Raghavan run out 1 from 5. Kamal Shettigar is at the wicket now, along with Mamata Swami. Kamal Shettigar 6 from 13. And Mamata Swami 2 from 4. So those are your principals. 63 for 5 is the score. Another 3 runs needed. Now 3 overs to go. The number of runs needed is almost irrelevant at this stage. Another 87. And looks like we had an umpiring change as Aubrey Davis is walking off and he's being replaced at the umpire's end by the groundskeeper for this facility. My apologies, I do not remember your name. I know it, I just don't remember it right now. But either way, he's being asked to come and play the role of umpire. Former professional player, played over 40s in England and in Pakistan, and then does really good work here on the ground. Good delivery, full and in the block hole, just driving it off or through the offside for a single. Score is now 64, and this is really, we're going through the last rites of a pretty convincing and a pretty one-sided match. Next ball, short of a length. She goes away from her stock length that she'd been bowling, looking for that Yorker most times, but this time she bowls a wide looking for that short of length delivery. And that, of course, extends the game even more. Another 85 runs needed, another 65 runs on the board. Realistically, another 5 wickets will happen before 85 runs. This is well played into the covers, goes through to the sweeper on the offside. And we are down now to the last 16 balls of the match. And I think it's safe to say that the sun is pretty much out of view at this stage. Good length again. And the ball gets away. The line was off, though. It was outside the line of off. And there is your signal from the umpire. That is an additional bonus, a couple bonus runs. One for the wide. In fact, they're both wides, but one for the where the ball landed, and then it got away from the keeper, so they were able to go through for that second run. Off the outside edge, running down close to the boundary. That might get to the boundary, and it does go all the way for 4. So a moral victory for the bowler, but welcome runs by Kamal Shettigar. Off of the outside edge, she is now up to 11 from 15. Mamata Swami, 3 from 5. And a score of 72 for 5 means that we're still waiting for the next 15 deliveries to be bowled. Once again, this is a 15 over match. And here comes the bowler again. Good line on that off stump line, just outside that off stump line. Bowler Giovanna Arras bowling well, 1 for 13 from 1.4 overs. 3 wides so far in this innings, or in this over. And the previous over yielded 1 wide, but for the most part, she's been accurate. And she has taken a wicket. In the air, pretty simple catch, and it is dropped. Came running in off of the circle. And here's a throw at the non-striker's end that would have been out had that hit. So a couple of opportunities there for a wicket. First the drop catch, and then the potential run out that was missed. So that is not something that you'll see the captain, Snigdha Paul, happy about. Certainly see the reaction from her there. Falling straight outside the line of off. And that is, I believe, the end of the over. At the end of 13, the score is 74 for 5. Last 12 balls coming up in this match. A match that will be won very convincingly by the MCA women. So this is going to be Shreya Aurora bowling from the Pearland end and bowling in really very dark conditions. Now, I think it's safe to say it's getting to the point where if you're the umpire, you tell the bowlers to just bowl the spinners. This is lofted in the air over mid-wicket. That may run away for 4. Nope, that's good work. Running around from wide, long on, and making sure that that does not go to the boundary. That's good work by that fielder out there, limiting the damage to only 2 runs. But I started saying it would not be a bad idea for the umpires to just suggest to the captain, Snigdha Paul, hey, look, it's getting dark. Just make sure that you just have your spinners on, because otherwise we may have to call this game off. Because it's extremely dark. I don't think that it's the safest thing in the world to be bowling pacers at this stage. And in fact, the batter Mamata Swami does not have a helmet on. So you really would hate for something to happen where she'd get hurt because of the fact that paces are bowling and it may not be the best viewing conditions. Being able to see properly at this stage is something that's very difficult with the sun going down behind the horizon. Next delivery, outside the line of off, but it's a no ball. Signaled and called by umpire Mani Singh. And unfortunately for the MCA women, we're about to have a free hit. So Mamata taking a bit of time to get ready, but she will be the beneficiary of a free hit. Here we are again. Looking to swipe. Not sure why she attempted the stumping, because she would not have been able to be out. Can't be stumped off of a no ball, off of a free hit, I mean. Unless potentially they would have thought that it was a run out. But I don't think that matters at this stage. 77 for 5 with only another 9 deliveries to go. Backing away and trying to play that one. Umpire sort of laughing as Mamata quizzically asks him if that would have been a wide. Didn't see where the exact line was, but my sense is that that was passing between Mamata and the stumps. And now just 2 balls remaining in this, the penultimate over of the innings. Oh, plays a delicate little late cut. And they'll get a single. So just 7 more runs needed. I'm sorry, 7 balls needed. My apologies. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a bit of a long day. And I think more than anything else, we're just looking to make sure that we get out of here in one piece. Next delivery, down the leg side, signaled wide. So we are at the back end of this match, and it's just a matter of knowing what the final numbers are going to be. Shreya coming into bowl, her last legal delivery. This is played through backward point. Misfield yields a couple of runs. In fact, they only get 1, so they didn't even come back for the second. So this is very much taking on the feel of a practice match or maybe even a net session. 6 balls remaining. The score is 80 for 5. And that last over will be bowled by Giovanna Arras. Giovanna Arras bowling now to Komal Shettigar. And in almost darkness, here's a delivery full and straight, wrapped on the pad. Umpire shakes his head no. They run through for a leg bye. Another 5 balls needed. It really has been wonderful bringing the description of these matches to you today. Once again, this is the National Women's Cricket League Houston Women's T20 Championship, presented by SMK Global and iStrive Technologies. SMK Global, featuring Avni and Abhijit Patel, and iStrive Technologies, featuring Padma and Sudhakar Kanumuri. Thank you very much for your sponsorship. It's a full toss and gets through the keeper. They run through for a bye. And we'll see the signal there from the umpire. And at the end of the day's play, we've pretty much already gone through the scorecard, and so it's just a matter of knowing what the final numbers are going to be. We'll just run over that very quickly. In fact, we can start that now. Only 2 balls remaining after this. So the scorecard, MCA women batting first, scoring 149 for 3. Chinmahi Arivuselvan, 44 from 31. Meha Sivakumar, 32 from 20. And Snigdha Paul, 30 from 18. And Anushka Bilanuka, 23 from 19. Those are your scores. And then for the bowlers, the best bowlers were Mamata Swami, Neha Nyogi, and Brinda Raghavan with 1 wicket each. And looking on here, as we see about to be bowled, the last ball of this match is about to be bowled. In response, Chickadees Loudoun Cubs, Izzy Slade Jones 6, Mitali Patwardhan 11, Ashwini Chavan 13, Nihali Nyogi 5, Brinda Raghavan 1, and Koma Shettigar 15, and Mamata Swami 7, not out. Both of those are now at the wicket, and that is the last ball in a very anticlimactic finish. It's just punched to mid-on, and that is the end of the match, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us, and do join us. Make plans to join us over the weekend, because this tournament goes on Saturday and Sunday. 3 more matches brought to you tomorrow morning, starting at 8 a.m. And until then, we're signing off from the wonderful Moosa Cricket Stadium here in Pearland. For now, this is Brian Walters saying good night and see you tomorrow.